Welcome friends to this second part. In this part, we'll firstly analyze the functioning of the CCP in recent times inside China as well as outside China. Secondly, we will understand major functional differences between China and the rest of the world. And finally, we'll dwell upon the road ahead for all of us. Apart from the evils that were called out earlier and the evil traits of the CCP in the past, in the recent times the CCP gained additional expertise and resorted to new methods of cheating such as theft of intellectual property, money laundering, currency manipulation, bribing foreign politicians or political parties. Unfortunately, all these traits, evil traits rather, were overlooked by the entire world. The outbreak of coronavirus from Wuhan has changed everything now. Now all the world leaders are shaken up and have started seeing the evils of the CCP. So the question arises, has CCP changed with modern times or with time? The answer is simple no. Nothing has changed in China. The people of China were made slaves then and they are slaves even today. The CCP members, which is a congregation of thugs, cheats and murderers, were in command that time and they are in command today. Having gone through the evils of the CCP since the past 8 decades, we'll try to analyze how the CCP manipulated economic and industrial growth in the recent times. In the past 2 decades, China's economic growth was much better than the rest of the world. But the citizens who toiled for this growth, who worked for this growth, did not grow proportionately. Only a few thousand CCP Politburo members became super rich with all the authority at their behest. The next question is, how did they manage all this? As the developed countries turned to China for manufacturing and logistics, the economy of China grew in leaps and bounds. With absolute control over the human and natural resource inside China, the aspirations of the CCP now became global, not just financially, but even in terms of gaining more territories. Here, the problem started for rest of the world. China became another Japan or Germany of World War II era. The Japanese and the Germans went on absolute rampage during that era with their military might. The CCP covertly followed the economic route since military operation was not an option for them. One wonders as to how China managed to rise to such heights in past 2 decades. The answer lies in the covert manipulation of economic policies. The CCP laid the debt trap all over the world. This is also known as debt trap diplomacy. Apart from debt trap, the CCP covertly infiltrated in all the developed countries under the false mask of education and culture. We'll now have a look at all these traps laid down by China for the rest of the world. Firstly, the debt trap, apart from being a trap, this has been China's most ambitious project. China provided infrastructure development projects such as construction of dams, ports, hydropower plants, road and railway lines, which is famously known as Belt and Road Project. The development of these projects were offered to economically weaker nations entirely on credit. The construction is undertaken by a Chinese company and obviously which is closely associated with absolute corrupt members of CCP. Once the nations are unable to pay back this debt or the dues, the power plants and the ports are then taken over by CCP on lease. The port in Sri Lanka and the CPC corridor of Pakistan are classic examples of debt trap. The next trap that China led was financial trap. The CCP led this trap by financing foreign universities and research institutes. Many top universities in EU, USA, Australia have also received immense grants from China. In other words, China has financial stakes in these institutes and universities. So, rightfully, Chinese students and professors got placements in these universities. The students resorted to intellectual property thefts, and professors helped to propagate and promote communism. The overseas education and scholarships are governed by Hanban, which is a tool placed under Ministry of Education of China. The foreign universities, therefore, are strictly prohibited from propagating any information against CCP and its functioning, failing which they are threatened with withdrawal of sponsorships and grants. The CCP covertly bribed professors and researchers in all the developed countries. Recently, about 700 US professors have been removed from the universities for accepting undisclosed bribe of whopping 50,000 US dollar per month. All money came from CCP. About 280 of these professors are under FBI investigation. Now the next trap was bribing people all over. This was a more dangerous trap which was led. The CCP resorted to bribing foreign politicians, media houses, intellectuals, left liberals, so that a very favorable approach towards China is adopted by the foreign governments and their elected members. Favorable international media coverage was also achieved by this trap. This strategy, of course, ensured any unfavorable reporting by foreign international media houses, especially in certain very sensitive issues such as human rights violations in China. Let us now understand the economic manipulation by China. The CCP generates money through various illicit means and projects higher economic growth of the country. The growth indicators are used for getting higher credits from the World Bank, and the money is again put back in its own economy. With these credits, the CCP also supports the Chinese manufacturers with huge subsidies, and hence manufacturers from the rest of the world cannot compete with Chinese companies in the global tenders. Researchers also found that China and its subsidiaries have lent $1.5 trillion directly to 150 nations, making China the world's biggest creditor, overtaking even IMF and the World Bank. This was the money spent on debt trap diplomacy. The national debt of China is the total amount of money owed by the government and all the state organizations and government branches of China. As of May 2020, this credit stands at approximately 5.48 US dollars in trillions, equivalent to about 48.4% of GDP of China. Within the World Bank Group, China now is the biggest loan taking country. It is very clearly understood by these crooks of the CCP that their main competitor, which is USA, is too strong economically as well as militarily for any direct confrontation. So the dragon chose to covertly expand and infiltrate economically in the capitalist countries. Economically, China earned immensely through their most favored nation status as well as their entry into WTO, that is World Trade Organization. China used this economy for expanding and improving its military might and technology side by side. The development of various ports in various parts of the world are also aimed at using them strategically whenever China requires. After the outbreak of coronavirus from Wuhan province, the first and most natural reaction of the cheats and liars of CCP was to hide information from rest of the world. Doctors, virologists and scientists who initially alerted the Chinese authorities were quickly silenced and subsequently all of them they went missing. Recently a professor was arrested in China because he stated that the virus originated from Wuhan. In another case, a virology scientist named Li Meng has defected to United States and now she's spilling the beans out. She is telling the whole world how the CCP has hidden facts about the outbreak of virus. Her family and relatives back in China are threatened of severe consequences. It is the same old CCP style of functioning which is continuing till date. Tell lies, conceal, coerce, resort to false propaganda. Their bullish attitude has not changed even after spreading all these sufferings all over the world. Knowing them little better now, do we really expect them to tell the truth to the world? While the whole world was battling with the pandemic, the PLA increased their troops in Ladakh region of India along the LAC or the line of actual control, which is a disputed area. On 16 June, the PLA attacked and killed 20 Indian soldiers at Galwan Valley in Ladakh region. The corps commanders of both the countries had decided to de-escalate just one day prior to this incident. But the Indian authorities believed whatever was decided in the corps commanders meeting and went back. But we forgot that they were liars. In spite of the agreement, the CCP had sent a secret message to their forward troops to attack the Indian Patrol Party. The CCP members can surely beat the lie detector test because telling lies is their way of life. A lie is the truth for them. Under the conditions of pandemic and extreme flooding in China, the CCP worked on their pending plan to impose national security law on Hong Kong on 30th June 2020. The law put an end to all basic liberties of the locals, including freedom of speech, which existed till now. The law was imposed by the CCP in spite of so many warnings by so many world leaders, including USA and UK and Australia. Hundreds of Hong Kong protesters were arrested and all of them will now be persecuted under the new laws in mainland China. One China expansionist approach was placed above the miseries of the local population simply because there is no value of human rights and human being in their own ideology. Under the conditions of pandemic, the CCP carried out fighter sorties over Taiwan, threatening them for having an independent nation state and for adopting and appointing a newly elected president. During the entire period of pandemic, China was hit by multiple natural calamities such as earthquakes, typhoons, cyclones, and the worst of them being extreme rainfall which flooded the Three Gorges Dam above dangerous level. Since the authorities wanted to save the dams, they opened up all the floodgates of the dam, releasing 30,000 cubic meters of water per second without informing the local population. Thousands of houses, cars, and other vehicles got swept away in the flooding waters. The crops in millions of acres of farmland were destroyed. This caused horrific damage in Wuhan, Hubei province, Hunan, and many more areas. 70% of the central and southern China got submerged under water. In order to save the dams, the authorities broke the side walls of the backwaters, allowing the water to spread into the low-lying areas. This caused hundreds of rural areas getting submerged underwater. Now, to overcome such a colossal damage, the CCP announced relief of $1.5 per capita. Their population is 1404 billion. If we multiply that by 1.5, we get $2,106 billion of relief announced by CCP. But once again, please don't misunderstand the CCP functioning. The relief will not go to the affected people. Instead, it will go to the infrastructure development companies, which are once again closely associated with the corrupt CCP officials and members. That money will be used for redevelopment of the affected areas. The peasants have remained peasants and will have to fend for themselves even in these trying times. The CCP does not grant any relief to its own people unless the losses can be attributed to the policies of the CCP. Certainly, CCP cannot be held accountable for heavy rains. Their authoritarian attitude with utter disregard to the lives of the Chinese people and basic human rights has not changed. Around 25th June of 2020, a 90-year-old woman was forced evicted from her house. In this process, the woman was pushed out of her house and she fell on the street, hitting her head. After hitting head, she fell unconscious. So the local authorities who were evicting the house shifted her to the hospital close by. Her son then arrived to that locality and people guided him to the hospital. But on reaching the hospital, he found that police were guarding the hospital and he was not allowed the entry in the hospital to see his own mother. He kneeled down begging to see his mother, but police told this Chinese guy to go to another authority. So he went to another authority, and while he was away from the hospital, the police quietly removed his mother's body from the hospital and got it cremated. This was done to avoid any autopsy or to avoid any scope of investigation and claims. The CCP is as cruel as it was 8 decades ago and has become more crooked with times. The sins of CCP have continued as normally as ever. The death of about 1 million people world over and their sufferings and the allied sufferings of the society do not matter to the ruling CCP in China. Their business is going on as usual. Recently, they planned a 400 billion US dollar treaty with Iran. Congratulations, they got trapped another nation in debt trap. In these testing times, the CCP priorities have been absolutely lopsided. They threaten Australia for being a signatory for an independent probe to find the origins of coronavirus. China went on to then punish Australia by increasing import duty on barley by 80%. We can go on and on if we keep discussing of the sins of the CCP. They have got used to bullying people inside China over decades. They cannot think of any kind of resistance and have adopted now the same approach towards the rest of the world. Very recently, the Chinese ambassador to India issued a statement that China and India should be partners and not rivals. The liars actually mean exactly the contrary. The cordial statement is issued by the crooks because China is now trapped between battle-strong army of Indian armed forces in the northwest region of China and by the US forces in the South China Sea. Once all this atmosphere cools down, they will surely strike back at India with more force and now with larger strategic interests. They have made too many enemies in the neighborhood, including Russia, Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Australia. But now they are increasingly unable to face the external forces. In desperation, they will attempt to do something crooked and stupid which can cause severe damage to the people of China. they are about to implode because now exploding is not an option for them. Was the rest of the world sleeping all these years for so many decades? Let us understand. The developing countries and their elite shifted their manufacturing hubs to China for reduced cost of production and hence gaining more profits. At the same time, they reduced job availability in their own nations. The thugs and cheats of the CCP took advantage of exactly this situation to covertly infiltrate the Western capitalists to finally achieve their aim of making the whole world communist. The value of money has risen to the highest levels in the minds of people, societies, and even the nations. So much so that, let's say, for example, the Guardians of Islam, the organization of the Islamic countries, had never issued a single statement in protest of the human rights abuse of the Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province in China. This is purely a convenient economic alliance killing the otherwise proclaimed Muslim Brotherhood. The value of religion in human life has fallen far below the concerns for economic progress. The Vatican also is another example. They can do nothing and say nothing against the falling churches in China. The Chinese Communist Party have very recently issued a communist form of Bible for the Christians living in China, and there is no protest from the followers of the Jesus all over the world. This is heights of alliance of economic convenience. All this leads to one conclusion, that the CCP have almost defeated God and eliminated religion, achieving the Marxist communist theory. The current international affairs and geopolitics is well known from various news agencies, experts speaking on the subjects, and various documentaries and films and articles. But what is more important is draw conclusions from this information. It is more pertinent to know and understand that the ongoing tussle is between the overt and open world in which we are living with the covert and unknown or undiscovered and misunderstood China. The media all over the world has been covering entire world 24/7 on every issue, but they have no access in China and to the internal affairs of the CCP. In this sleeping world, US President Donald Trump was the first probably to realize that all was not well. Something was amiss. He, being an entrepreneur and a businessman himself, he primarily focused and realized only on the economic misdoings of China, which then led to trade war since 2018. With the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic, the issue of human life and human survival came to forefront. The whole world came to a grinding halt as the only available solution in pandemic was to close doors, close all businesses, stay inside, close all industries, stay indoors, maintain social distancing and wear masks if you are moving out. Human being is a social animal, but the societies world over lost their social life in entirety in the process. The social animal lost his loved ones to the virus and could not even gather to perform the last rites of the loved ones. The world at large is busy fighting coronavirus pandemic and the economic downturn. We are yet to face the psychological effects the societies are undergoing. The schools are running on online, virtually separating the future friends from each other. The young boys and girls cannot meet each other at their usual outlets. There are no more birthday parties, no more family gatherings or get-togethers. The exams of students are either cancelled or postponed. Their entire future is held in abeyance, and till date they see no ray of hope. When this generation grows up, they will surely hold our generation responsible for the state of affairs we have allowed this world to come to. The entire situation demands more introspection than just blaming the CCP for its sins. Calling out sins of others won't make the rest holier. On deep introspection, some questions certainly arise. Like, was the rest of the world oblivious to the fact that the viruses such as flu, avian flu, SARS, and influenza all had their origins in China? What did the WHO do about it in so many decades? Was the rest of the world oblivious to the human rights violations over decades of suffering of the common man in China and in Xinjiang province? Was the rest of the world oblivious to China's expansionist attitude, having completely arbitrary claim lines such as 9 dash lines in South China Sea and absurd claim lines over Russia and India? Was the rest of the world oblivious to China's debt trap diplomacy? Was the rest of the world oblivious to China's support to terrorist organizations of Pakistan and China's financial as well as armed support to Arakan terrorists in Myanmar? Was the rest of the world oblivious to the fact that the Wuhan virus lab did not have sufficient safeguards? In a way, we should thank coronavirus for waking us up from this deep unconsciousness. The unconsciousness arising from mere financial interests. There are greater lessons to be learned, and to my mind, the lessons are: firstly, freedom and liberties of human are paramount. Secondly, health is the real wealth. With the advent of technology, the world has to be far more homogeneous than ever in the past. But as long as we have countries and societies suffering from the rule of tyranny and oppression, we will not have peaceful world or world with harmony. With the analysis of what went wrong, now the path ahead is to firstly understand that all of us have fallen in a ditch, deep ditch, and we had to come out of it by helping each other. Second step, and the immediate one, is to overcome the coronavirus by medicines to start with, till finally we have a vaccine. The next step should be follow up economic sanctions on China to hold them responsible and accountable for the pandemic and demand damages occurring from the pandemic. The Chinese airlines, merchant ships should be denied access to navigational facilities such as GPS navigation. We must hereafter be very vigilant. We must understand and interpret correctly the CCP module inside China and their policies to the foreign countries. Actions taken inside China also need to be understood in correct perspective. That means we are required to think like crooks to understand the real perspective. For example, recently a Chinese official was arrested for corruption. His house was raided and 50 million US dollars of cash was seized from his house. What does this action mean to a common man? It means an anti-corruption drive, which is a good thing. This understanding is used smartly by the crooks of CCP, firstly to satisfy their local population as well as the rest of the world. In reality, these officials are just pawns working directly under the Politburo members. Typical use of through diplomacy of the CCP is seen once again. The money is now deposited in the treasury to be used for the evils of the CCP. But now remember, this entire money will be a white money as far as the international market is concerned. Money is currently the biggest tool in the hands of the CCP. CCP has trillions of dollars of unaccounted money lying all over the world. Do listen to the interview of Guo Wengui, a millionaire who defected China and took political asylum in United States in 2014. He has explained at length how China cheated the whole world. He had been explaining to the US authorities that Alibaba will be taken over by the CCP in coming days. The US authorities have now started to believe him. That is after 2018 when Jack Ma, the founder and owner of the Alibaba, resigned to pursue educational work, philanthropy and environmental causes. Absurd. We will now try to understand the functional inequalities between China and rest of the world. On industrial front, the rest of the world can never match the cost of production in China because China uses forced labor in manufacturing sectors where the rest of the world is using paid labor. Very recent investigations have revealed that production facilities of Apple, Nike and other big brands including big fashion brands are linked to forced labor camps in China. The forced labor is sought not only from the Uyghur Muslims of Xinjiang province but also from student interns, disabled and old ones from the rural areas all over China. Now on government front, what are the differences? China has no financial liability or accountability. In case of any calamities, they don't have to pay up anyone. Rest of the governments pay relief to their own people in case of road and railway accidents. Other governments can be questioned and can be opposed for flawed policies even if the policies are correct and the opposition comes from the political parties or leaders secretly funded by CCP. Political leaders in the Five Eyes countries, that is United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada and UK, are presently under surveillance for funds received from CCP. In order to overcome these disparities, China's membership of the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, the World Bank, etc. should be temporarily suspended till such time China does not offer the same transparency to the rest of the world that it enjoys in rest of the world. China itself has no transparency of any kind. Foreign media is strictly banned in China. On the other hand, the governments in the rest part of the world are answerable to even a video from social media and also in issues raised by CCP funded biased media. Inside China, CCP has set up a cyber cell to identify any posts that are going against the CCP or communism. The CCP had made a list of about more than 35,000 Chinese words and phrases to be monitored on social media. Anyone caught posting anti-CCP messages is imprisoned and may even go missing in certain cases. To boost this cyber cell effort, they have created 50 Cent Army. This army of civilians are paid 50 cents for each anti-CCP post that is identified by them. Chinese economy is also supported by rampant live organ harvesting, which no other country can even imagine. Why didn't the developed countries set up manufacturing hubs in countries which have level playing field in terms of cost of labor and have high transparency? The process has begun now. Japan and India also have taken lead to pull out their companies from China by supporting own industries with subsidies for the pullout. Europe, United States, Australia are also on the same path. If the cost of damage done by the virus outbreak is calculated, then the rest of the world has paid very dearly for setting up industries in China. The companies world over will pay dearly for setting up their manufacturing in China. Inadvertently, they have all made a wrong choice. In order to force CCP to have more transparency in China, a counter firewall, especially in the domains of their supply chains, hospitality, insurance sectors, and other financial transaction processes, should be set up to deny them access to the internet in the rest of the world, like they had done themselves by setting up firewall denying any communications of internet such as Google, YouTube, or Facebook inside China. Each nation involved in business with China should check and recheck if they are trapped by the Chinese debt trap. Seek assistance from world leaders and developed nations if you are trapped. The people of China are a great human resource with a great cultural heritage and family values. So the challenge in front of the rest of the world is to protect the Chinese people, but at the same time liberate them from the tyranny of the thugs and cheats and murderers of the CCP who hold the power in China. We should make a united attempt to free the common man of China from tyranny of the CCP. To achieve this goal, we'll have to be more ruthless and cruel than the CCP itself. And the Chinese people in turn will need to cooperate with the rest of the world in the actions that are likely to follow in the coming times. The CCP in these circumstances will surely resort to incite the Chinese masses by portraying themselves as the true saviors of the Chinese people and the rest of the world as the aggressors who are trying to demonize and discriminate the Chinese people. But this time it will not work because the Chinese are well aware of the investments done by the Western and Asian nations in China over the past 2 decades. China has gained immensely due to inclination of the Western world towards China, especially in trade, manufacturing, and logistics supply lines sectors. In return, the CCP has covertly backstabbed the Western institutions by resorting to spying and theft of intellectual properties. The CCP has used all its economic power to be a military power or a superpower and dominate the Asian countries. The people of China should be made aware of the fact that they are appreciated for their hard work, intelligence world over. In reality, no one dislikes them, but the CCP will run this false propaganda now in China to hide their own sins. If the aim of freeing the Chinese people is not supported by the people of China inside the Chinese territory, then the options such as economic sanctions, delinking China from rest of the world, or a military action by allied forces will have far more damaging and disastrous effects. The Chinese Communist Party in China has to be crushed and permanently dismantled so that China becomes truly a republic with a government elected by the people, of the people, for the people. I rest my case now. Once again, friends, I thank you all for giving me a patient hearing. I pray God for a healthier world for all of us and especially for the future generations. I look forward to your valuable comments and suggestions. Thank you.